Okay, hey everyone, Wanderbot here, and welcome back to Cavern Kings. So, I looked at that leaf that I've been talking about getting for the longest of time, and I don't know where to get it. I have it. I should already have it. No idea. Well, either way, now who to pick, who to play as. Okay, we're gonna be playing as Yoji. I'm okay with Yoji. Yoji is quite possibly play all of them in a row. No. Especially if we do another hour-and-a-half run. I don't think I have the... Oh, I don't think I have the fortitude for that. B, I don't think I have, like... Apparently Wednesday, No. Wednesday suggested Cavern Kings. Completely off the cuff. Go for you, good for you, Wednesday. Let's keep going. Please give me the drill cannon. I guess we're going to be going for the short range combo. Works enough. It's like my third favorite weapon. I was really hoping we do the other one because we started off with some nice silver chests, but this works too. Please give me like an actual item right off the bat. The answer, ow. Okay, so apparently not being underneath those spikes, you still actually take damage from them as that block falls. Good to know. Did not know that at all. But yeah. Let's see. God. Like, if Cavern Kings was, like, my most popular series, period, and, like, everybody wanted me to do a, like, back-to-back-to-back-to-back run of Cavern Kings, I probably would, but I think by the end of it, I'd just be, like, insane. But seeing as the movement speed boosting item, despite the fact that I have unlocked it, presumably, I looked up the unlock requirements for it, and it's just, I don't know. Let's see if I can get these boxes before we go anywhere else. There we go. But like, since there's not really a whole lot of reason for it, and by the end of it, I'd just be so sick of this game. This is part of the reason why I haven't like done a 24-hour stream yet. Oh shoot, I could have picked up that health pack. Oh, well, not that big of a deal. Ooh, and we get money shot right off the bat. But yeah, I've never had this game crash, actually, for me, which is kind of nice. It's better than Vagante, at least in that regard. But, yeah, one of the reasons why I haven't done, like, a 24-hour stream yet is, A, I already stream for, like, 4 to 5 hours a night, so to some degree it's kind of like, well, it's not that distinguishable from anything, except for I guess I'd actually be streaming during the daytime, which is different for me, because I almost never do that. Should probably do so, though. But, ow, crap. Well, did not actually destroy the level there. That is welcome. And like at some point I'm definitely going to do a 24-hour stream. I think it's just one of those where it's like I haven't quite built up the desire to, and like we hit 1,000 subs, and it's kind of hard for me to decide like, well, should I just do it anyway? Like I already kind of missed the milestone marker, and it's just like, well, now we're on to 1,150. Seriously, in like a week, almost 2 weeks. That's pretty good for me. Shit's growing fast, and that's been nice, but it's like, I'm bad at doing, like, celebratory stuff. I never even did, oh, hello. Eyeball creature must have spawned directly below me. I never even did, like, any kind of milestone video. I feel like I should do those. I really should do more of those things. My problem is I always just spend all my time playing games, and not doing any, like, channel management stuff if I can avoid it. Mainly because I'm lazy, and B, I don't freaking know. Should probably do it. Maybe we'll go do it after this. Just the ultra late, or alternatively the slightly sarcastic 1,150 channel update video because everybody does a celebratory 1,000 sub thing. You know what? 1,150. I think we're actually a little bit higher than that. You know, nobody ever celebrates that number, and so let's celebrate that one instead, and just try and totally straight face it. Yeah, I'm good at that. Maybe we should get drunk again. That'd work. Either way, I'm just gonna hide in this hole, considering... Oh, hello. Boxing glove. Milestone video for every subscriber. Alright, so... Legit Games is suggesting, you know, a milestone video for every single subscriber. I have seen people do that before. By name, a thank you video for, you know, thank you for subscribing to me. And they were each completely unique. Face cam and everything. and more than a minute or two long. This guy did it, and he would post them on my subreddit, thinking that we all came from there because he kept spamming us. That was the longest conversation I've ever had as a result of having to ban somebody for not listening to the rules at all. It was ridiculous. Dude was like 20-something, and he just did not understand that, A, you listen to a moderator on a subforum. Like, he actually told me that he doesn't read the rules anyway, so why does he care? And then had the gall to argue about why he was banned. It was ridiculous. And is one of my favorite stories to tell whenever anybody's talking about, like, horrible mod stories. I've also been called Hitler a lot for telling people you can't advertise on my subreddit. It's ridiculous. You'd think they'd learn, especially after the first time. But I've had people, call me a Nazi and then go out of their way to put oh shoot, what's it called? Like the screamer videos, where it's just like 5 seconds long and it's just the loudest scream possible, like possibly achievable on YouTube. They'll put that up and then they'll just like link it 50 times on Reddit. And the problem is like this specific guy, this happened. This specific guy is like at 20,000 subscribers now, and it kind of it bothers me to some fair degree because it's just like this guy's an absolute shit, and he's doing better than me. Ugh. But yeah, no, I get insulted a lot, and it doesn't really bother me. Usually I just kind of put it into a folder of like things to laugh at later. But then when like I actually see them doing well, it's just like, ooh. It's kind of like if you know how there's like that stereotype of like the bully in elementary school, middle school, high school, whatever. Okay. Where, the bully is not going to go to college, not going to be successful, and, is just going to be working at Walmart 10 years from now when you go back to your town. And so, like, the high school reunion, he's going to be kind of a fat, washed-up bastard type person that nobody wants to talk to. And then you realize that he's, like, a top investment banker and is, like, a multi-trillionaire or some ridiculous thing. It's like if Bill Gates was actually, like, super buff and beat you up in high school, or middle school, or college, or whatever. How insulted would you feel? I guess that would actually be like any time Steve Wozniak ever interacted with Steve Jobs, come to think of it. Well, anyway, down we go. But like, bothers me sometimes. Oh well, it's not that big of a deal. I think it's mostly just like I'm a huge proponent of comeuppance. I'm not going to be able to get through I might not be able to get to that box. Yeah, I can do it. It's just a little bit hairy. Should probably prioritize picking up some of this health. Also, that ceiling's coming down a lot faster than I'm giving it credit for. I guess I'm spending a lot of time gathering health packs and boxes and stuff. Alright, more knives. Sweet knives. But, oh well, it's not that big of a deal. And eventually, like, it's not like he's particularly impacting my growth. Just cranky. That's all. Anyway. Yeah, no. Waz was the awesome person. I've actually met Waz before. He belonged to my frat. I think it was the same Waz. Shit. There are multiple Wozniaks, so it's kind of hard for me to remember which Waz specifically we're talking about here. And, like, there are several Wozniaks within the same industry, and the problem is, like, I knew he was famous when I was talking to him. It wasn't long. I was a greeter at the door, because we were having, like, a huge reunion, and this guy with a just big old name badge that somebody put on just said Waz on it. I'm like, okay, is this the Waz or the other the Waz? And it's, yeah, alright, I thought so. Yeah, it's Steve Wozniak. Yeah, so I believe I've actually met Steve Wozniak before, and he was a really cool dude. And then he proceeded to go off and drink with other people because, who's gonna talk to, the freshmen in college? Not me. I went back to my dorm room to play Pokemon, and I did not care. It's not like knowing or talking to Steve Wozniak for particularly long would help me too much just in general in life, because, well, let's be honest here, I'm an artist, and Pokemon Black had just come out like 3 days prior, and boy was I addicted. We had like 30 people in my dorm room playing Pokemon that day. I almost died there. That would have been bad. Oh, that is a big old gem. Gimme, gimme, gimme. But, so I didn't actually belong to like a standard frat. I belonged to a computer science frat, so it was nerd frat. It was kind of the best. The problem is, like, nerds don't have that great of social skills, so there were a lot of nerds that were not friendly nerds. There was a lot of, like, you know, they compared dick sizes, both in technology and literally. It was really embarrassing. But, well, I don't know. Learned a lot from that place, even if some of those lessons were not exactly the most positive of ones. Oh, God. How did I almost die there? Where did all my health go? Don't even know. Something must have blown up in somewhere's land. Either that or the rock hit me and I didn't even realize it. Or, oh, you know what? I bet that it was one of those metal cubes and it was, like, completely hidden. But, yeah, no. It was, yeah. It was a frat, one way or another. Even if it was a cooler frat. Like, we actually would do, like, 24-hour marathons of Open Transport Tycoon Deluxe. That was fun shit. I also wrecked face at that game. I really want to do a Let's Play on it at some point, but I've never really gotten around to it just because, A, it would take, like, a ridiculous amount of time, and B, I'm not entirely sure if anybody else would play with me. Oh, hey, Jerwolf. Let's see. Okay, so we've got no other containers. Our health ain't looking great, but it's not looking terrible either. Hopefully somebody's going to have some health for me. Either way, though, our damage is looking nice. Like, we've gotten some good items, and we do actually have a Heart of Belial now that I look at it. So assuming that we just get... I really want to get a bunch of clumps of iron this run, just so we have bullets, like, 3 times the size of my character. Because that could just be funny. Crossing my fingers, at least. I also really wish they would list this game on Steam already. You think, oh... that thing looked corrupted and freaky. I don't think I've ever done that. Now, kind of on a completely different note, but I've been thinking about this lately, and it's like, I notice I stream a lot of the same games over and over and over again. And I'm thinking about, like, diversifying, and the problem is, like, to one degree, I guess there are a bunch of roguelikes that I should cover more often, like, Hand of Fate, for example. I was thinking about that the other night, and I was like, I really need to finish that. The problem with Hand of Fate is, well, that final level is just oh god, that final level is just brutal. So some amount of me is just kind of terrified of trying that again. But oh, hey, this is a locked room. Didn't even realize. But let's see. Huh. Bullets that are covering the screen is a game? What? I didn't even freaking know. Okay. Let's just grab this, but, like, I've been trying to think of, like, diversifying my Steam not Steam library, my, like, game library here for a bit. And, like, stuff like, ooh, Clump of Iron, yes. Stuff like, Armello's been really nice, and, when Titan Souls comes out, that's gonna be really, oh, wow. I actually swing hard enough that I actually move upwards while swinging. That's really useful. Alright, time to leave. So, like, Titan Souls is gonna be kind of good. Once that comes out, which is in, what, like, 3 days? 4 days? I need to look that up and probably contact the developer. Even though, like, technically Titan Souls has already been out, I just want to do, like, a full series on that one. And there's our extra jump. Even though, technically, we actually hover slowly into the skies, we already go. But, like, trying to figure out how to diversify, and part of the problem I'm running into is, like, I'm finding myself, like, limited in terms of, like, my collaborations now. That, like, a lot of my, like, old collaborative friends just don't anymore. They're really busy. Titanfall. I could do Titanfall. Maybe. I'm not sure if I'd be able to stream it, though. The problem is, like, I tested this with Dying Light, and I'd have to test this again. Well, you know what? I do actually have Titanfall paused as far as downloading goes. Please let me leave before we get crushed to death. But yeah, I've actually been meaning to go back to Titanfall. I think part of the problem is, like, I only know... well, that box is gone. I only know a couple of people that have Titanfall, and might actually be able to find some more people now. But, like, one of those guys just completely quit my social circle. So that's kind of weird. And, oh, that's gonna hurt a little bit. Please just die, thank you. And... I don't know. I could probably do Titanfall. I really enjoy doing the cooperative modes. I'm not so much for the competitive stuff, but that's because I like the cooperative modes. Nobody's really good at sniping in those. But, yeah, talk about robots. Seriously, though, as far as games like Titanfall goes, And even to a degree, Call of Duty Advanced Warfare. I got really, really happy when I heard that Call of Duty Advanced Warfare was going to be the next Call of Duty. Because I'm just gonna leave. Because like Battlefield 2142 is my favorite FPS that I've played in quite a while. Titanfall beats it in a lot of ways, but it doesn't quite have the depth that I liked, whereas 2142 was just ridiculous at all times. Seriously, like, some of those holdouts on that Titan carrier, whatever that thing is called, might have actually even been called the Titan, come to think of it. But some of those holdouts with, like, a bunch of heavy machine gun emplacements and all sorts of stuff, that was just, like, the best of times back when I was in high school. This was, like, early high school, but unfortunately, the game just did not catch on for people, and unfortunately, like, EA did make some, like, bad choices there. But, well, there we go. But it's one of those where it's, like, the resurgence of sci-fi as a genre within, like, competitive markets makes me really happy, because it means that we're actually going to be able to see more sci-fi-ish type games. Actually, the other game that made me really happy that EA did recently, apart from Dragon Age Inquisition, which I need to get back to, come to think of, is Plants vs. Zombies Garden Warfare. I actually really enjoy that game, but again, I don't know anybody that plays it. I have it for both the PS4, mind you, I don't have a PS4, and PC. And the only person I know who has it for the PS4 doesn't play it. And that doesn't even matter, because I don't have one. But, yeah, Battlefield Bad Company 2 is good. I think my problem with, like, the Battlefield series in the, like, modern era, or pseudo-modern era, is it's not interesting iteration after iteration. Like, I'd love to see a more, series of, like, more sci-fi Battlefields. And this is why, like, you know, Battlefront 3 is so alluring, especially because, you know, if EA did well with Dragon Age Inquisition, hey, maybe they might do well with, they might do well. I don't think that battery actually does anything for me. Not to mention the fact that I never stopped shooting. But, like, Hardline, admittedly, was not particularly encouraging. We'll see, though. But, like, Battlefront, if they actually manage to do that one well, and, like, have it working from the get-go, and it's, like, a really good game, and they even have, like, the space combat involved, I would love to play through a space epic. I'd really like to see EA involve, like, mechs, like Titanfall, into their games. Because, I mean, they already own the IP for Titanfall. Let's just do Battlefield Titanfall, and just open it up to 64 players. And, yeah, I know EA is the publisher, not the developer, but at the same time, I'm pretty sure they could push forward, like, Battlefield Titanfall or whatever, where it's like, you not only have 64 players running around on the field, you also have a bunch of grunts and sentinels and whatever the other kinds of people are. So not only do you have, like, a bunch of people running around, you also have a bunch of bots running around, so it's just this giant battle going on. It'd be great. I don't even know. But, yeah, no, I think part of the problem is I feel like the sci-fi as a genre is frequently graced within video games, but I always feel like it's never truly done justice. You know, the games are always kind of lackluster and dependent on some kind of weird gimmick. It's one of the reasons why, like, the Half-Life series is kind of cool, because it's not that sci-fi, but it still has a lot of cool sci-fi elements to go along with it. But the problem is it's still based on Earth, so it all feels generally pretty bland, as far as I'm concerned. Even though, like, all of it is great. It's why I like Portal more, in a lot of cases, because Portal is very not human, very not normal. And my spirit shot almost murdered me. I guess I have plenty of health. But, yeah, Red Faction's pretty good. Unfortunately, Red Faction is never coming back as a series. Unless, oh shoot, I don't even know who bought the Red Faction IP, come to think of it, when THQ shut down. But I highly doubt it's going to do well, considering the last Red Faction game to come out was Armageddon, and I actually really enjoyed that game, but it wasn't as good as Guerrilla. I'll grant that, but, like, it just, the name isn't worth much. It's probably never going to really amount to too much, which is kind of disappointing, but, yeah. I don't know. Just crossing my fingers that sci-fi, like, comes back. Because I guess the main reason why, and I say, like, sci-fi hasn't been done justice. Oh, he blew up. I don't think I've even gotten a C4 upgrade yet. No, I haven't. He must have just been one of those explodey types. Must have. Our attack speed is ridiculous. Please give me. Yes. Alright. Wow, yeah, we're getting to the point where we can fly in a direction, and it's going to be great. But, I think my problem with sci-fi is truly, comparatively limitless. And, like, yeah, you can say the same thing about fantasy, but fantasy always ends up being, like, sword, sorcery, and, you know, some amount of, like, techno-wizardry. Which is a compliment to a lot of Final Fantasy games, though they're definitely going the more sci-fi route as of late, which I'm fairly okay with. But, like, sci-fi is limitless. You could have spaceships, you can have all sorts of things. It's kind of one of the reasons why I'm super disappointed that, oh shoot, what was it? That Destiny turned out to be kind of eh. Because if Destiny had truly been, like, a game changer as far as, like, MMOs go, I would have gone out and bought a PS4 immediately. But as it stood, it was, you know, kind of a bunch of half-hearted, like, it's okay, but... And it's okay, but does not, you know, does not drive the industry forward. That's for certain. But, yeah, okay. Down we go. Yeah. I probably will still get Destiny. Probably the moment where I, like, actually get some kind of employment or, really, income. I'm gonna go out and buy a PS4 and get Destiny, get Bloodborne, Kingdom Hearts 3, Final Fantasy 15. Except for, I'm also, I guess one of the reasons why I also held off on Destiny was I was really hoping that they would announce a PC version. Because if I could get a PC version of Destiny to go play with, like, a bunch of people, boy, would I buy... I would actually buy 2 copies. One for... Ow, shoot. One for myself, one for Shell, because, God, we both love sci-fi games, and, like, co-op sci-fi shooters are perfect for us. Hell, half of our relationship is founded on playing co-op games together. And that would be, you know, really fun. But, I don't know. It just wasn't... Well, it's not on PC, that's for certain. But, I don't know. Crossing my fingers here. Someday. One thing that's actually been really cool lately, and I'm going wildly off topic considering at this point Cavern Kings is just kind of like me background processing what's going on. But like, a lot of game companies lately have actually been re-releasing games on Steam for kind of a fraction of their original cost to fairly good results. Oh shoot, what am I thinking of? I mean, Final Fantasy 13, while not exactly the true pinnacle of Final Fantasy, I mean, they released 90% of their other Final Fantasy games on there too. I'm waiting for 12, honestly. 12 would be great, but just the fact that a lot of AAA gaming companies, console gaming companies, are actually releasing their games on Steam is really cool to me, to some degree, because it means that a lot of, like, console developers are actually starting to consider PC as a viable platform. Like, Square Enix is, it's rumoring that, well, it's being rumored that Square Enix is actually going to release Final Fantasy 15 on PC as well as, you know, the, you know, 2 heavy hitter consoles. Not Nintendo, but whatever, Nintendo does its own thing. And if we actually get to the point... Well, actually, that's the other thing. It almost seems like Windows 10 is going to be compatible with some level of Xbox games, even if it's just being streamed. That would also be kind of cool. I don't know, it feels like developers are starting to go after... PC as a viable platform again. And that makes me really happy. Because there are a lot of console games that I never got to play over the past couple of years. Oh, finally, the drill. We're going to be able to dig through everything. This is beautiful. But, I don't know. Either way. Let's just burn through everybody here. Wow, that is a lot of gems. we really are going to be able to ascend really quickly here. That's going to be a concern once we get to the later levels. That's no big deal. Just have to make sure I can oh, hello. Just gotta make sure I fully can dig down. I guess I don't shoot off into the sky if I'm touching the ground initially, so I do have that as a bonus. But either way, let's just go. Like, I don't even need to jump anymore. I can just kind of, like, hover. It's great. Armor and health regen. This is a really good run. I think this is the one problem I'm starting to run into with Cavern Kings, that I'm actually getting good enough and, like, smart enough as far as, like, my movements go, that, save for sheer dumb bad luck and weird RNG from time to time, we pretty much have every run in the bag, which is admittedly a bit of a detraction after a certain point. Because after a certain point, it just gets too easy. And then it becomes a question of, is this a roguelike, or is this just self, I don't know, appeasement? I guess appeasement isn't the proper word I want to use here, but you know what, whatever, boxing gloves and whatnot. But either way, gotta pay attention somewhat to chat. Unfortunately, this game is not one of those where I can pause and read as I go along, because even though I'm, like, barely paying attention to gameplay, I do have to make sure I'm not getting murdered. Alright, but, let's see. Yeah. No, I really, really hope... I really hope that they come out with, Destiny for PC. Because at that point, oh boy, would I play a lot of it. With a lot of people. If I could. And I absolutely could. But, let's just... Everything is blowing up around me. I look away for a second, and suddenly I'm on the other side of the screen, and shit's blowing up. But we're actually getting to the point where our health is going to be high enough that it don't matter. There's also gems just flying everywhere. Wow. We're wealthy. 37,000? It's pretty good for... I don't actually know what distance we're at. 100... Oh, only 15,000. So it's about like a 1 to 2 or a 2 to 1 ratio. Kind of cool. Either way. Down we go. And everything else is doing fine. I don't know. The games industry is interesting. It's very fun to watch it grow. I was complaining once about, like, money kind of corrupting the system in games. But it does feel like that's been better lately. I guess it depends. I'm also really looking forward to the day where a AAA roguelike comes out. Because, I mean, say what you want about Binding of Isaac, it's not AAA. It's damn good, but it's not AAA. Tower of Guns was made by a AAA artist that went indie, but that's true of, like, most AAA type games. The Forced game, I would actually say Forced is getting closer to AAA. I think I mentioned this when I was playing Forced, but, the potential for, like, the studio that makes the Torchlight games making a roguelike could actually possibly happen, considering. But they're more liable to just make Torchlight 3, which I'm pretty okay with. Speaking of, I should actually do a series on that. Ow. But someday, somewhere along the way, some developer, some AAA developer is going to get it into their heads to do a roguelike that's actually AAA, which would be kind of cool. So I'm looking forward to that. Now, I've been asked the question, what was the last game with a story that drew me in? That one's a little bit harder to say. My problem with a lot of games with stories is a lot of games with stories end up just being kind of disappointing after a certain fashion. Like, let's see. Games that I'm playing. Dying Light, the story is awful. Comparatively. Like, you don't play Dying Light for the story. However, there are certain elements that make me want to keep playing it, because it's like... I guess I'm just going to rant about this for a second before I get back to the topic. But so for Dying Light, you know, you have this mysterious zombie thing, but you actually, like, keep running into mysteries. And I kind of liked this about... I like this about Left 4 Dead, but they never actually really had it in the game, where you always have the zombie plague, but you never actually have, like, the reasons behind it. It always just feels kind of like, well, oh god, don't want that. Well, zombies, shit's fucked. That's it. And so Dying Light almost feels like there's a reason behind it, like why it's going on in this situation. Let's get the health. Oh god, I'm just getting hammered and knocked around like crazy. I really want that chest, though. Damn it. Well, there we go. How many Hearts of Belial did I have? I want to say I had about 3. That was a bad situation. 4. 5. 5 Hearts of Belial. That was bad. Dark Room's rough. Either way, great run of this game, and I will get back to the topic probably on whatever the next video I do is. Which probably won't be Cavern Kings, but you know what, whatever.